Welcome everyone. In this lecture, I'm going to discuss about a special data type in C programming. It is known as derived data type, identified as derived data type in C programming, and called array. Very important data structure. In some programming languages, it is known as list, but in C, in other languages such as C++, Java, it is known as array. So let us first see what is actually array and what is actually known in C programming and what is its purpose. And then we're going to see what are the topics that we're going to discuss in this lecture. If you just go with the book definition, what is an array? The definition I have listed here. An array is defined as the collection of similar types of data. Very important point. Collection of similar type of data. Similar type of data. Can you list some similar type of data? Such as we can have a list of marks of a student in all the subjects for a particular given exam. Okay. Then we also can have a list of ages of a particular group of people. We can also say list of temperatures for all 30 days of a month. So say the definition is saying that similar type of data. So here are some examples I have just highlighted here. There are many examples you will come across in your house also. Suppose you are going to the market and you are purchasing different types of items. So what we can say, a list of all the expenditures. Okay, list of amount, item wise. Okay, so see what is the main important point here from these examples. Whenever we saw there are multiple values can be represented against one name, such as suppose you are a student and you are given an exam in your board exam or your semester exam, you have more than one subjects. So basically your numbers are coming in this format, suppose 70.5, 60, 70.6, like that. So see, there are similar data types, similar types of data. 60 can be represented in a float, 70.5 is also float, and 70.6 is also float. 80 can also represent it in float. So similar type of data. Collection. When you say collection, collection means list, a group. Okay. Collection of similar types of data items. These are the items stored at contiguous memory location. Contiguous means continuously they're going to store into computer RAM. Correct. So see, normally when you declare any particular variable in C programming, this lecture is for C language. So in programming, C programming, when you declare any variable, how many values it can have? Maximum one value. One value only. Correct. So this is a simple variable, integer type variable which can store a value only. But when you want this kind of information, suppose you were given an exam where there are 7 subjects are there. 7 subjects are there. So what you will do? We can normally declare multiple variables then. Suppose float, like this one, marks 1 to marks 7, that we can write many more. So when we saw the number of subjects is 7, that is okay. Instead of working with array, we can declare 7 different variable names which can store the marks of 7 subjects. But now thought this one, how can you going to represent with the variable names? List of temperatures in a month. We have minimum temperature per day, maximum temperature per day. So we need how many variables? 30 days, 2 values per day, 60 variables we require. So do you think it is a feasible solution? Your program have 60 different variables, which can be a similar type of values. This is the point, similar type of value, similar type of data. So using array, we can solve our requirement very easily. Instead of declaring 60 variable, we can declare here 2 variable. One will contain maximum value, another will contain minimum value. And in every group, there will be 30 values. We can have 30 values. So list of temperatures in a month. Okay, so that's why it is called similar types of data stored in continuous memory location. Okay, so when you declare simple variables such as mark 1, mark 2, and mark 7, it is not guaranteed they're in a continuous memory block. But when you're going to use array, all these values will be stored into continuous memory block, something like this. There will be value 1, value 2, value 3. You can put any number of values that you want till it supports the size of your computer RAM. Because at the time of execution, values need to be loaded into the RAM so that CPU can process it. So let us see what is the definition with respect to C programming. So here it is. In C programming, arrays are the derived data type. So when I discuss in the data type lecture, I have told you that there are, along with this data types, primary data types, we have 3 other derived data types. Okay, such as array, pointer, and function. Okay, known as derived data type. So here we're going to talk about the array derived data type. To create an array, we also need to take help of primitive data types, such as int, char, float. That's why they're deriving some information from those primitive data types. We'll see them, how a array is deriving the information. So in C programming, arrays are the derived data type, which can store primitive type of data. So as I told here, list of marks is a float, primitive data. List of ages, if we did not consider days or month, it will be an integer. List of temperatures might be in double. Okay. List of amount, again, it is a double or float. Then you can also store list of genders of 30 students or 30 persons. It can be a character also. So it is used to store multiple integer values against one name, or multiple character values against one name, multiple float or double, any type of primitive type we can store in an array of C programming. This lecture is totally designed for 1D array. We'll see very shortly, might be the next lecture. There are different dimension of arrays also possible. 2D, 3D, ND, like that. Okay, so here you can see an example, list of temperatures. So what we have, see 30 days in a month. Okay, how many values we can have? 2 values we can have. One will be the maximum, another will be a minimum temperature. One is maximum, another is the minimum. So how many, if I consider it like a matrix, okay, if I consider it like a matrix, now you can see one will represent my minimum value, another will represent my maximum value. Okay, so this is day 0, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and this is my minimum and this is my maximum. So we can record the temperatures. Later we can also calculate the average temperature in this particular month or in a week. So here you can see we need 2-dimensional. This is 2D array. Look like a matrix. And our previous one is 1D array. There is only one dimension, one size. So what I'm going to discuss in this particular lecture, I'm going to discuss how to declare and initialize 1D array in C programming. how to take input at runtime and how to display those values, and also addressing concept of each item. Because in the definition that I have taken from the book, it is says that it's stored at contiguous memory block. So we need to understand the addressing concept also of those memory blocks. Okay, so let us begin with the first point. Let us see the syntax. How can you declare an 1D array? This lecture is only for 1D array. Okay, so how to declare 1D array, the syntax. To declare 1D array, here it is, note down. Data type, name, and within the square bracket, we have to mention the size of the array. So when you say data type, this data type can be anything from this int, char, float, double. So definitely you can also have short integer, long integer, long integer. These are the modifiers. Name is a identifier name, a valid identifier name. And the size will define how many values that you're going to store. So size will be any positive number, positive integer constant. Positive integer constant, more than 0. Okay, size never be negative, no? If you ask anyone what is the height of yours, so height never be negative. What is the length of this particular thing? Never be negative. Okay, what is your weight? Never be negative. So this way, a size will be always a positive number, positive integer constant greater than 0. Okay, so now let us see in the compiler at the same time how to declare an array where I'm going to store ages of 5 person, ages of 5 person. Suppose there are 5 values, ages, suppose 17, age of 1 person, 20, 25, okay, 70, and 30. I'm considering this is the 5 numbers of 5 different person. So see, this is what? This is similar data type, similar values. So that can need to be stored against one name, ages. So what type of values these are? Integer type. So let us see how to do that. Data type, any data type. So let us take int, name of the array, valid identifier name, ages, correct? Identifier name started with alphabet, ages. And how many values I want to store? 5 values I want to store of same data type, 5 values. So now see what will be the size? Inside the square bracket, mention 5. So now see, this is a positive integer constant greater than 0. Data type is int and ages is a valid name. Okay, so now how many memory blocks will be reserved into RAM? 5 memory blocks will be reserved. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 memory blocks will be reserved. Okay, so let us see in the compiler how to do that. So I'm declaring array here, ages 5 declared. So what is 5 here? 5 is the size of the array. How to check the size of the array? Simple. We can take a variable here, size, and we can apply the operator size of. Okay, so now we can calculate what is the total size of the array here. Let us see. Printf %d. Let's print the value of size here. Size. Save this. Compile and run. Now check. It give me. Oh, sorry. What I have written. The size of array, correct? Ages. Now compile and run. See 20. So total size is 20 here. Size of the array. So let's see what is this 20. See, what is this actually? You have declared an array with 5 size. What is this 5? So please note down here, 5 is number of items or number of values that we can put in this array, number of values. So how size is actually calculated? See, size of the array is equal to number of items multiplied by size of each item. Size of each item, and it will be returned in bytes. Total bytes reserved. See, number of items here 5. Size of each item. What is the type of the array? Look at carefully. Type of the array is integer. Then what is the size of int? 4 bytes. So now 5 into size of each item will be 4. So what is the value in byte? 20 bytes reserved. So what is the answer we are getting? 20. This is the 20 bytes. Why I am multiplying with 4? Because the type of the array is right now integer. So it means what? It means ages can store maximum 5 values of integer type. Positive, negative, hardly matter, but 5 values maximum, not more than. So integer will take 4 byte memory. So 5 into 4, total 20 bytes are reserved. Okay, got it? Okay, now, so now see here, what I have done, 5 blocks are reserved. So it is called what? What is array? Contiguous memory blocks. Items are going to be put into contiguous memory block. So let us see now what is this contiguous memory block. Okay, so before to understand this contiguous memory block, let's draw the complete picture of array, how it is going to be represented in RAM when we declare that array. So when I draw the picture of RAM of this particular array with 5 items, how does it actually look like? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If it is contiguous, it should be like that, one after another. Correct. So now see, these are what? So suppose when you say group of people, group of member, correct, and they all are sit together in a rows and column manner, or in a table or in chairs, they are synchronized, but you don't know anyone's name. How are you going to call the person from that group? Identifying the location, correct? So this is called what? This is called index. Their location. As of now, there is no value, so the values will be garbage as of now, because age is simply declared, not initialized. So I'm taking a garbage value as of now. Garbage. This is index. The name of the array is ages. And now the address, come to the address. See, what is the type of the array? Type of the array is integer. So now, if I assume the address of this first block is 1000, so the address of the next block will be 1004. Then again 4 byte jump 1008, 4 byte jump 1012, and 4 byte jump 1016. Why 4 byte? Because the type of the array is integer. Whatever the values we're going to put, it maximum will get 4 byte of memory. Okay, so now how will identify item of this? So it represents what? See, if I write now ages of 0, what it is here? This is index. Array index started from 0. So here what is the size? Here size is 5. Number of items is 5. Then the highest index will be size minus 1. Highest index will be size minus 1, that is 5 minus 1, that is 4. So here you can see the highest index, 4. And the lowest index, always be 0 in C programming. Always be 0. Here you can see the lowest index, always be 0. So when you say ages in square bracket, I mention 0 as index, it represents the first item of the array. And if I write ages of 1 inside the square bracket, it represents the second item. Okay, so now let us see their values after declaring. Are they garbage or something else? And also going to see their addresses one by one. Okay, so now let's do this, the values first. Printf. We have 5 na, percentage D, percentage D, percentage D, percentage D, percentage D. And how to get each values? Ages of 0, first item. Ages of 1, second item. Ages of 2, third item. Ages of 3, fourth item. And the last one, ages of 4. Ages of 4. I get the fifth item. Save this and now check their values. Now see the garbage values. 4 is given me 0 and third one give me 27. So if it is initialized, all location will have same number, but they are different number. So that means once we declare the array, simply memory blocks are reserved. It is not initialized. Memory blocks are reserved. So let us check their address so that you can understand the contiguous memory block concept. Okay, so how to print an address? To print an address, we'll use %u instead of %d. Okay, %u. And to get the address, use ampersand before the name of the item. So name of the item is ages of 0, then address of ages of 0. Apply address of this. Also apply address of this. Also apply address of this. And final one. You can check, you can get the address of each and every item. Run and check. Now see, the address of first item, ages of 0 is 552. If I just take last 3 digits. Address of next item, as I mentioned here, if I consider the first address as 1000, the next address will be 1004. Why? Because type of the array is integer, and integer takes 4 bytes of memory. So next address will be 1000 plus 4, it is 1004. So here it is, first address is 555. Okay. So second address will be 552 plus 4, 556. Then the third one will be 560. Fourth one will be 564. And the last one will be 568. Got it? The addressing concept. So now how it is look like? Contiguous memory block. How many? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What is the address? 552. I'm just taking last 3 digits. 556, 560, 564, and 568. The starting address of each block. Index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So how to differentiate the name? If I just write ages, it represents the array only. Correct? The array. It doesn't represent the item name. So how to get the item name? Name of the array, inside the square bracket, just put the index. So it is the first item. Now if I write ages of 1, it will be your second item. So index is important. So through the index, we are defining an item in a list. I just call anyone, please come, the person sitting in the third chair. So I'm identifying through the location. So what is their values now? Garbage values. 0, 0, 27, and 0 and 0. See, all are integers, similar data types, similar values. Okay. Okay. So now let's proceed next. I hope the addressing concept is clear. Correct. So now let us see how can we initialize this particular array. Okay, what is the next point we're going to see? How to initialize. How to initialize. Like other variable, when you write this integer a, this is declaration, and later we can initialize like this. In another way also, suppose I am declaring integer a, at the same time I can initialize it. For a simple variable, I am not talking about the array, simple variable. Suppose there is a variable b, I can perform a plus 20 or I plus 10. This is called dynamic initialization. So how to initialize array? Because in array we are not representing only one value, there's a group of values. Okay, can you write this integer ages that I've declared earlier, 5? So then how to give 5 values? Can you do this? No, it is not allowed. No, wrong initialization. Okay, so let's declare it first. Okay, so can you do this thing? Ages is equal to this. No, we can't do this thing. Again, wrong. Why? Because the name of each item is different, but you are representing these values against only name, same name, not the item name, array name. So you cannot put this initialization. They're totally wrong. Totally wrong. Wrong initialization. So then how to initialize the array? To initialize an array, we're going to use the array initializer list. So how to initialize? Using an array initializer list. Okay, let us see how. So let's declare an array. How many items I want to store? How many values? 5. And how to represent initializer list? Using the curly brackets. How many values I need to pass? 5 values. 30, 20, 10, 15, 20. I have given 5 distinct values, or same also. But look at, all values are comma separated. All values are comma separated. Correct. So now how the arrays look like? If I draw the array now, how many items? 5 items. So first 5 continuous block, their indexes started from 0, then increasing by 1, and the highest index will be number of item minus 1. So now their values will be 30 will be given into the first location, 20 second location, 10 third location, 15 fourth location, and again 20 in the fifth location. Okay, so now what is the name of this value? Now we're going to write ages of 0. What its value? Its value is 30. Okay, so let's see in the compiler using this initializer list. Okay, array has been declared, correct? So let me shift this comment here. 5 memory blocks are reserved. Now let us initialize. What are the values we have put? 30, 20, 10, 15, 20. Okay, 30, 20, comma separated. 30, 20, 10, 15, and 20, comma separated values. So now save and check the output, compile and run. Now see the values. 30, 20, 10, 15, 20. I printing ages of 0, it gives me 30. Ages of 1, it gives me 20. Okay, here you can see ages of 0, give me 30, 30. Ages of 1, give me 20. Ages of 2, it's give me 10. Ages of 3, it's give me 15. Ages of 4, it's give me 20. I have passed 5 distinct values or same values, but I have passed 5 values. So I'm initializing item by item, item by item. Okay, so now see, I'm doing a very bad practice here. Look at carefully. Here, if you look at carefully the indexes, what is the difference between these two index? 1, next one. Difference between these two, 1. Difference between these two, again 1. Difference between these two, again 1. So that means indexes are increasing by 1 and started from 0. So instead of writing individual item by its name and index, we can also generate the index from a loop. Here it is 5, that is okay. We are writing their names using the index. What if I want to store number of ages is 1000? Then how many that you're going to write here? It takes an hour to print all these 1000 values because I need to type them one by one. Chance of I have misplaced, I'm wrong counting the locations, high chance of error. So what we can do, instead of hard coding the index inside the square bracket like that, 0 or 1 or 10 or 100, we can generate the index using a loop because their differences are 1. So let us see how can I use a for loop to generate the indexes. Okay, so how to do? Now, if you want to use a loop, so how can we generate the indexes using a loop? So let's write a loop first. What is the starting value? Starting value is 0. Okay, so let's declare a loop control variable with value 0, initialization. What will be the condition? Now see the condition. Size is 5, but highest index is 4. So condition will be size minus 1. So we can write less than here 5. Here what is 5? 5 is the size of the array that we have mentioned during the declaration. And then how to get the next index? What is the difference? The difference between them is 1, 1, 1. So how to get 1, 0 to 1? Through the increment operation I plus plus. So now see, through I, now I'm generating the index. So now instead of writing individual item inside the printf, we can directly write now %d and then name of the array ages of I. So now it represents what? Ith item of the array. Ith item of the array. So now you can have 1000 size, 2000 size, 10,000 size, no problem. Loop will take care of everything. So let's do the same thing here. So stop this rigorous job. Now printf %d, and now I'm using ages of I. Sorry, before to do that, we need a loop. Number of item is 5, so less than 5 and I plus plus. Now let's print the values one by one. %d ages of I. So let's see. Now so it prints all the 5 values, but they are print one after another, so unable to recognize the values as a different item. So what we can do, we can use a space after printing a particular value. So now if I compile and run, now see the items are printed. Okay, items are printed here in a space. Space has been maintained. Okay, so now let's do this. Now print the address also. So let's print the address first. Okay, how to print the address? Address of ages of I. So it will print the address of ith item and then it will print the value of ith item. So compile and run. Now you can see Better to print them in different lines. So use \n now after printing the first line. Now again compile and run. Now see the output has been shifted into individual lines. First address value, second item address value, third item address value, fourth item address, fifth item address, and their values. Okay, so this is the way we can print the array items one by one. And this is one of the ways that we can initialize. Now let's see a few more syntaxes that we can initialize the array. So now let's declare another one. Integer ages. Okay, age is 5. Now see, I'm passing the two values only. This is what? This is partial initialization. What will happen when you perform partial initialization? Note down this. Partial initialization, I'm writing it here. Partial array initialization. Okay, how? So when you declare an array, integer ages 5, number of blocks are reserved 5, and you pass only suppose 20 and 30, then how the arrays look like? The array will be look like this. 5 blocks are reserved, although I'm passing only two values. So first two will be initialized, and rest will be 0, because we have already used integer values for initialization. So rest will be 0. Index unchanged. The same way indexing will be done. Address, if you consider the first address is 1000, so others will be 4-byte jump. 1004, 1008, 1012, and 1016. Okay, so rest items will be 0. So now here ages of 0, what is the value? 20. Ages of 1, what will be the value? 30. And what about the others? Ages of 2, ages of 3, and ages of 4, all values will be now 0. So let's see in the compiler. Compile and run this. Now you can check. First two items you have passed the partial initialization, rest items are 0. This way also you can perform the initialization. Okay, so now let's see another way that we can do the initialization. Now suppose that you want to initialize the array with a default value 0 for all the items. So it is part of partial initialization. You can do this. Ages 5, 0. So now all items are initialized to 0. Guaranteed. Compile and run. Now see all items are 0. Okay, each and every time when I run the code, it is not necessary that I'm getting the same address. It can be different address because I'm not generating the address. Address are generated by the operating system. Memory allocated by the operating system in RAM. So here I'm getting, because I'm working on a simple laptop, no background processor going on. So I'm getting the same address again and again. In your case, it might be different. What type of address I'm getting in your computer, it also be different. But difference between them will be 4-byte. If you declare an integer array. If you take a short integer array, here you can see short integer array. For short integer, we need to use %HD is the format specified to print the value. Compile and run. Now see the differences of addresses. 68, 70, 2-byte. Why? Because now type of the ages is short integer, 2-byte. 70 plus 272 plus 274 plus 276. So it is an example of contiguous memory block. So satisfy the definition. Okay, so now let's see another way that also we can initialize the array. Okay, so now let's make it same one. ages. Now see this one, very interesting. Very interesting. What is the meaning of this? Okay, what is the meaning of this? Very interesting. Now see, you have not specified, okay, we have not specified the size. Size is missing. No size. Correct. So now question is that when I declare an array without any size, because syntax says that there should be a size positive constant number. So when you ignore the size while you're declaring an array, what is the most important point? The most important point is that when we did not specify the size of the array, array must be initialized at the same time. Array must be initialized at the same time. At the same time. Must be initialized. So when you write this way, integer, ages, size is not specified. You cannot leave the array here. We cannot leave the array here. You need to be initialized. Using the initializer list, you need to be initialized. So if you pass here this, then the here size is 2, because you have passed only 2 items. So compiler will calculate now what is the memory requirement, because you did not mention the size. Okay, so how many memory blocks need to be reserved? So what compiler will do? Compiler will apply a formula over here. Okay, compiler will apply will formula here. Whatever formula compiler will do, let me write an array first. Integer ages, sizes is not mentioned. So now it is compulsory to initialize there at the same time, item by item. So now suppose I am passing 4 and 5. So what compiler will do to calculate the size? Compiler will apply this equation, size of the array. So it will give me in bytes divided by size of first item or any item of the array, ages of 0. So now see, size of ages, 2 items that you have initialized. So 2 into 4, it is 8. 8 divided by size of ages of 0. So 4 is an integer. So what is the size of integer? Size of integer will be 4. So what is 2? 2 is equal to number of items or number of blocks need to be reserved. Okay, so let's see in the compiler. I have missed the size, so I've given here 3 initialization. So now if I write 5, see what will happen now. I'm crossing the number of blocks reserved for this array. Number of blocks will be 3, but I'm given 5. Now see what is happening. It can easily access other 2 location also. Why? Because see, what is actually our array, our RAM? RAM is a collection of memory blocks in a line, in a sequence of memory blocks. Okay, in a sequence of memory blocks. So this is our RAM in a sequence of memory blocks. You have given 3, okay, no problem. 4, 5 is here, 6 is here. You have given 3, 4, 5, and 6. But I am accessing up to 5. That is, this is 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, 3, 4, 5, and 6 index. I am accessing less than 5. That means up to this I'll access. So here array name gives me what? The array name gives me the starting address, correct? Array name gives me the starting address. So I'm saying now ages of 0 is actually what? It is actually ages plus 0. And now when I write ages of 3, it is actually what? Ages plus 3 and value at that. So easily can access. Why? Because they're continuous, one by one, one by one. So that's why this condition is important when you're working with the array. Else what will happen? Your compiler can go till the end of this last block present in the RAM. Just it will increase the index by 1. Okay, so let's see this. Suppose that I did not control the index, and now suppose I did not put any condition here. So in no condition means it will be true. Okay, no condition. So no condition means it is true. So now let's see what will happen. Compile and run this. Now so it's printing, addresses get printed one by one, values are get printed one by one. So now it is stopped. That means you reach the end of the RAM, or how much this program can access the part of the RAM. So that's why the size need to be calculated now, because size you have not mentioned. So to calculate the same formula, size of array, name of the array is ages, divided by the size of each item. So it will give me the number of item. So it is ages. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to write I is less than size. Now compile and run. Now see, only 3 address has been generated, and I get the values whatever I have put inside the initializer list. Okay, so it is compulsory when you miss the size of the array at the time of declaration, it must initialized. Let's see with the another array. Nums. I missed the size. Compile. See the error. Array size missing. It is saying that array size missing in nums. We cannot ignore the size. If you want to ignore the size, you need to be initialized. Can I make the initialize empty? Let's try. Yes, because we already put some initialization. Now what will be the value and what is the size? So let us calculate this. Printf. Now size is equal to %d. I'm going to apply the same formula. Now see, if I just want to calculate this total size of the array, compile and run. Now it give me size 0. Size 0 because empty initialization. So no blocks has been reserved. No blocks has been reserved. Correct, because this is empty. And this is what? This is empty initialization. Empty initialization. This is empty. This is empty. No values. So now what will be the size for this array? Size will be 0. Okay, so never do this thing. Even though suppose if you try to divide it, size of nums of first item, no, there is no blocks are reserved. Size, because this part is already 0. So whatever you are applying over here, that will be 0. 0 divided by something, answer will be 0. Okay, so this is the correct way to do. You can, if you do not want to specify the size, you can put the initializer values and then later you can calculate the size. Okay, so what left? This is the very basic part I am discussing. Next, what left? Let us check. Array declaration initialization is over. Output you are already producing. Addressing concept we have already discussed. Okay, continuous memory block. And now what left? That input, how to take input for the array item. So basically how to take input? To take input, we use a library function, correct? Scanf. So how to take input? Correct, we definitely use a function, scanf. Scanf is the function. Scanf, what type of array? Suppose my array type is integer, so I use %d, and then I'll pass the address of each item. Address of ages of 0. So it will take the input for the first item. So if you want the input for all item, definitely you need to use a loop over here. For integer I equal to 0, I less than the size that you can calculate, I plus plus, and later you can use scanf %d ampersand of ages of I. So our input is ready. Let's check it here. Okay, so now let's take the input, give a message, printf, enter values. Let's use a loop for input. I equal to 0, I less than size has been calculated, represents number of items. Now give a message, enter value at, address can be printed using %u, so ampersand of ages of I, and now we can take input in f. So percentage ages is an integer, %d, and now we can pass the address of each item. Later it will print me the values. Save, compile, check any error or not. No error, run this. Okay, now see it is waiting for the values into this particular address. So I'm entering values here 80. Now values, next values 90, next values 100. So see, I did not specify the size, but due to this size variable that I have calculated here, this loop is executed only 3 times, because in the initializer I have given the 3 values, comma separated 3 values. Okay, so these are the values I have given input, and it is also produced the output. Okay, so this is all about how to declare an array, how to take input in array, and how to access the array item using its index. In the next lecture, we're going to see some problem related to the 1D array, how to change the values, whatever the things that we can take care in 1D array, how to implement some sorting algorithms, how to sort a list of numbers, okay, how to find a number from a list of number. We're going to see in the coming lectures of 1D array. Okay, so this is end for 1D array declaration initialization and how to take input. Okay, so thank you very much. You can try with the float, double, short integer, unsigned, signed. You can try with them. Okay, so thank you very much. Have a nice day.